thoughts?
Black history.
Black history. Okay. When we talk about the founding of the Negro spiritual, we have to go all the way back to Africa. In Africa, we know that music was extremely important in the daily lives of the people. It was used in worship, it was used in daily work, it was used in mourning, it was used in celebration, it was used in communication. People in Africa were so skilled at playing the drums that they actually used the drums to send messages from one village to the next. So, say your mother lived in the village up the road and you wanted to get a message to her. You went to the local drummer and you told him the message and he played the drums. And your mother got the message. That's how skilled they were at playing the drums in Africa. What we find, of course, in the 1400s, the slave trade as we know it begins, and Africans are being stolen from Africa and brought to the Americas. So, you're captured, sometimes, unfortunately, with the help of other Africans. You are sent to the coast to make the journey. Who was here yesterday afternoon for the African American Holocaust program? Okay. You're sent to the coast, and they're about to put you on a ship. Before they put you in a ship, you are in a dungeon. You're kept in this dungeon. You don't know what's happening. You're afraid. You're eating strange food. You've been separated from everyone you know and you love. You're taken up these stairs and taken through a door. And all the Africans know is that this door is the door of no return, because everyone who goes out of it never comes back. And they're not exactly sure where the people are going. They just know they're going through the door of no return. Today you can travel to different slave castles in West Africa and actually see these doors of no return, as well as some of the slave castles that still exist there. But you're taken through the door of no return, and you're brought out to the ship, and you are packed in the ship. Now, I talked about this. Let's see if anybody want to answer this question. There are two ways you can make the journey from Africa to America. You can go tightly packed, or you can go flat packed. Now, y'all remember which way was the better way to go? Tightly packed or flat packed?
Flat pack.
Flat packed. Do you all know what that is? Planking. If you went flat packed, that means you made the journey from Africa to the Americas flat on your back. The journey could take upwards of 3 months, depending upon the weather and the route that was taken. Or you could go tightly packed, which meant you took the entire journey laying on your side. 3 months. Can you imagine it? In the dark, eating strange food, hardly ever getting out onto the deck for sunlight. There's no restroom facilities. And so what's happening is that these people are getting sick and they are dying. It is estimated that 10 to 15 million Africans were stolen from Africa and brought to the Americas. And of that number, at least 25% of them did not survive the journey. They died through disease, they died from depression, and sometimes they were murdered, they were thrown overboard, because there was a particular time in history where the British were out patrolling the ocean for slave traders. And if you were a slave trader and you saw the British Navy on your tail, you got rid of your cargo, which meant you dumped the entire cargo of Africans you had just stolen overboard. And that could be upwards of 600 people. So I want you to imagine you make this journey, you survive. What a testament of the strength of who you are, or what kind of people you are, to be able to successfully make the journey. You get to America, and the first thing that is taken away from you is your language, then your religion, and the way you celebrate. So these new slaves find themselves on the plantation, and they are not allowed to use their drums. They're not allowed to use the drums because the slave masters are afraid they will use the drums to communicate from plantation to form an uprising. So they take the drums away. And then they force them to convert to Christianity. Now, they force them to convert, and these new slaves begin to go to church. And what do they hear? They hear the story of Moses and the Exodus, which is all about slaves being freed. So they began to attach onto Christianity because they can relate. They understand. That's their hope. You know, they really